Hello family, how are you? Happy Tuesday. It's our Tuesday talk time and it is hot out here. And my son is cutting the grass, so I hope you can hear me. Right where I'm going to talk, he's going to cut the grass. I'm just out here having me some peach hydrate. It's so good. This morning I got up and it was storming. Raining and storming. And now it is so hot and beautiful, and we got a little breeze going. It's beautiful out here. But we're going to talk about, I feel like I'm yelling. We're going to talk about some storms. Storms come in our lives all throughout our lives. Adversity. We can't run from that. That's just a part of life. And life can be really good at times and be going great. But there's always those storms that are going to creep in. We cannot change that. But what we can do is trust that God is in the midst of the storm. He's always there. Always. And it reminds me when we talk about storms and things we go through, and it reminds me of the story of Job. All right, it got a little quieter now. But you know, in the story, in the book of Job, in his seasons in his life, it was, oh man, he really, really had to go through some of the most difficult seasons of anyone ever. I mean, from the loss of his children, to his health, to his wealth, all the material things gone, everything. But how we, and I talked about this in my story yesterday, is some things we don't understand. It's very hard to understand what's going on when we're in those seasons, but we have to trust that God does. He knows what's going on. And that's what Job did. Although it was never explained to us the purpose of Job's suffering and why he went through so much. But in the Bible, in Job 42, I hope y'all can hear me. In Job 42:3, this is how he replied. I'm going to let him pass. I could have gone somewhere else, but I was so comfortable here, I didn't know it was going to cut right beside me and behind me. So in Job 42:3, this is what he said. Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. I'm going to go on and read the rest of it, but just that reply that he said is the kind of trust and humility that he had and for God with that is just unreal. And then it goes on to say, you said, listen now, and I will speak. I will question you, and you shall answer me. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. Boy, that sun's hitting me too. I hope you can see me. I said something like this with when someone had said about me being saved at such a young age, at the age of 6, and then surrendering my life at the age of 35. At the age of 6, it was knowing about Jesus. We learn about him, we know about him, we learn the scriptures. If you're in church, you know it. If you go to Awanas, you're learning about him. But the relationship can come later. And the surrender came when the intimacy of the relationship of knowing him. knowing about him and knowing him and who he is and studying him and having that relationship is so different. And that was when I surrendered. And so my Bible, I want to make sure this doesn't come out. So my Bible is the Charles Stanley Study Bible, the NIV Bible. But in that verse, my ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. And this is what he said, Charles Stanley. He says, it is one thing to learn facts about God from a safe distance. It is quite another to know him personally, intimately, up close and face to face. It is. That is so true, so true. There's also another verse, Job 38. Let's go over to Job 38, and it is 22 and 23. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, or seen the storehouses of the hail, which I reserve for times of trouble, for days of war and battle? Have you entered those times, those seasons, those storms, where you have to rely and trust completely on God because you do not understand what's going on around you? And you have to just humble yourself. And you may be in a season of loss with family members, wealth, material things, health. Those are the times that you feel, and I call them walking through, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Those are those valleys of shadows of death that you have to put your total trust in him and keep walking through it and get through it. And he will be the reason you get through it. And he will get you through those times and those days. I promise you, he will. And we will all have these seasons. We will all have to go through storms. We will all have adversity. I know yesterday I talked about joy, but today we're talking about storms. And this is real life stuff that we need to know. And we need to be able to stand firm on this word. And we need to know who God is. And we need to be able to come to him and know him, have that relationship with him of who he is and how he takes care of us. So when you go to get to those storms and you're going through those storms and it's crazy and chaotic and a whirlwind and you're spinning out of control, the first thing you can do is pray. Pray, get in the word, talk to God, and then thank him. Thank him because, one, he's going to get you through it. Two, he knows what you're going through. Three, the outcome of it. Look at Job. Look at Job. Let's talk about his outcome. Let's first talk about this. So, thank him for it because his love, his power, and his wisdom is far beyond anything that we understand. So, if you're faced with those right now, get into the word, get into prayer, get to know him. He will get you through it. Oh, my phone is doing something. Okay, guys. I wanted to end this talking about my phone is acting all crazy and crooked, and now Jacob is way back behind me. We can still hear him though. And it's so hot out here, I'm about to start sweating. Okay, so I wanted to end talking about Job's life and how his life actually ended, and how God restored his life. There is redemption. And how he trusted God and continued to live his life and after going through the storm. And now he's coming up right behind me. I love him. I hope he doesn't throw a rock and hit me in the back of the head. I mean, I'm way up here. There he goes. Okay. I'm way above him. He's down there. But anyway, so somebody needs to hear this. That's why this is going on. Okay. All right. So let me tell you what God did. So God restored everything that Job had. He had twice of what he had. He restored it all. He actually gave him a family again. He gave him 7 more sons and 3 more daughters. He gave him a long life so his health was restored. He did all of this. He also defended his character. So walking through the storm and trusting God and just keep going, there is restoration. There is redemption. He will restore you. You just have to get to the other side of the storm. I really hope that y'all could hear me through all this. I'm so sorry, but hey, it is what it is. We got projects we're doing this week for school, so it has been a busy week. Y'all know how those projects are with those little ones. We never stop going to school when we have little ones, because you know we're the ones that are really doing most of the projects. But so we got that. We got company coming over to eat dinner. So listen, y'all have a great rest of your Tuesday. I hope y'all got something out of that, and I hope you could hear me. I hope you can see me with this beautiful sun. And I'll be talking to you next Tuesday. I love y'all. Bye-bye.